We hop off a plane and we don't know what's going on, do we? I love it. Well, guys, first of all, give yourselves a round of applause because seriously, to invest in yourself and your business like this, like REV SQUAD, I was just telling Ann this, I was able to come last year and it was such a blessing. So to be able to see like more people investing in their business and showing up every single year for this, it's a blessing that you even have Ann. So let's give Ann a round of applause. I've never really seen a leader do something like this so big, or at least haven't been a part of it. And that's a gift. It really is a gift to have somebody want to pour into you and pour into your business, and that wants you to be as successful as she is. You know what I mean? Like that's huge. So we're going to talk today about NLE. That's why we're up here. How many of you have earned NLE for this year? I want to see a hand or two or three. Not yet, because it's still going to happen for you, right? But NLE stands for New Leadership Experience. What it really is also an investment. It's a high-level training that we really do in person in Miami every single year to pour back into our leaders. We spend a lot of time and energy and all the things, money on making sure that this is an incredible experience. But what we really want to do is help you leave with tangibles to be able to pour back into your business, but teach your teams to do the same as well, so you can be just as successful as you want to be, but also have your team go along with you. So today I have these three beautiful women who are going to share their experience from when they went to NLE. So we'll start with you, Miss Jessica.
Yes. Well, hello. Am I on? Hello?
Tap it like
you can hear me? Oh, sweet. Yeah, so what's cool about kind of my experience is that I'm an older leader. I'm not old, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I've been in 9 years, gonna be 9 years, which is crazy. And so they allowed us to kind of come into that new leadership experience. It was really, really awesome. So I was at MMM, and it was really awesome to be able to go see the home office. We were actually the first group. I went back in July. I got to go a year ago. And it was the first time that they allowed us to go into the home office and see the distribution center. And what's cool about my experience is the fact that I had never seen the distribution center before. I've been in it for 8 years at the time. Never been to Miami, never got to go to any of that. And for me to like still have the belief and the vision of the company and never actually have to see it in person, it was a kind of a full circle moment to actually see the people working behind the scenes, to see the products and the things that were placed, and it's so beautiful. And so all they've put on in place, and so it was just amazing. And of course, Todd Duncan, oh my gosh, who doesn't love Todd Duncan? I mean, he did so many things, spoke into our lives, and that was really awesome, that training, and just to see the field, what the things that you've gone through, to be able to be like, you know what, that makes sense, you know. And when you're in the business for so long, sometimes you kind of get a little like stuck or just in your own mindset, you know. And so it was just really good to be refreshed, revived, and say, you know what, I can do this again. So it was awesome.
I love that. Again, I love that you're like, I'm doing this again. We're going to make this happen over and over again. That's exactly what this business is about, though, right? All right, Miss Montana. Guys, she literally just came up to me in the back and was like, thank you so much for doing the MMB group that we just implemented. How many of you are in that or know about it? Do we know anybody in that? Okay, I see a couple of hands. That's exciting. And she just said that she had, felt like a little bit of a plateau in her business. And then when we started the group, she actually re-ranked again and got back up there. So it's really cool to see something that we're kind of pouring into to make sure that it's like actually doing what we're hoping for it to do. But Montana, will you tell us a little bit about your NLE experience?
Yes.
Yep.
Good? Okay. Well, actually, leading off of that, just do whatever you can to get to these trips. Whatever trips Monet offers, whatever trips your team offers, do anything you can to get to these trips, because it does make such an impact on your business and personally. So for the NLE trip, I really didn't know what to expect, especially because it seemed like I'm new. So from what I knew, it was a newer type of trip. So I didn't know what to expect. And to be quite honest, I almost didn't go because I didn't really know anybody else that was going. So I was really nervous. I went anyway, and I would say, just like everything, something that's going to get you outside of your comfort zone is the best thing that you can do for your business and for yourself too. Like, I'm so nervous up here right now, but I know.
And she's doing incredible, right? You're doing amazing.
But I know I'm going to grow from it. So anyway, so that trip was incredible. I was super nervous. I got to the airport and I actually met a girl there from a completely different team, and we ended up connecting and getting to know each other a little bit. Got to the hotel and talked to each other for a little bit, got ready to go down to the event. And we connected so quickly, we decided to share a hotel room together. And I would say that alone, just meeting somebody I had never met and getting to experience sharing that same passion for the business and helping others, that somebody like from completely across the world that I'd never met, that's not on my team, has the same thing as me, it just kind of ignited me and it gave me this fire. And so I think that was one of the most impactful things, was realizing, just like Connie said, staying close to the fire makes such a big difference, to have, someone that you can just grab hands with and run with, and people that you wouldn't expect to meet can impact your business in so many ways because they have things to share that you're not learning from your own team. And getting outside of your comfort zone and going on a trip like this can be, you never know what to expect, but it's worth taking yourself outside of your comfort zone and going on a trip. So it was impactful in so many ways, but I would say meeting somebody new, doing an experience, I didn't know what to expect, and it was just amazing.
Okay, give her a round. Give her. First of all, like immediately, my mom brain went into motion, and I can hear like the because she's like, okay, I'm scared to go to the trip. I don't want to go. I don't know anybody. And then when she goes on the trip, she meets a stranger and shares a room. Did anybody catch that? Because if my son was like, I'm going on a trip, Mom, for work, I'm really nervous, pray for me, and then he gets there and he's like, I met a dude on the plane, we just got a room together. I'm like, what just happened? I would literally be on my knees, like, Lord, please don't put my baby on a milk carton, right? But that's incredible though, because you said step out of your comfort zone, and that is way outside of a comfort zone right there. So like, kudos to you, but I love it. It was also so impactful. Guys, our community is unreal. Like, if you really think about that, you meet somebody and they've got money on their body somewhere because we've got socks and hats and all the things. Really, we have a bag. You can't miss us. At this point, you really can't. And as soon as you see it, you go, I know you, even though you don't know that person. And then immediately it's like, it's a sisterhood. So everybody else looking around is like, oh, these must be friends. And we're like, no, I met her like 2 seconds ago in Starbucks line. Like, how incredible of a culture do we have to be able to do that? Like, we're really, really lucky, like incredibly blessed. Incredibly blessed. So I love that you shared that, because it sounds crazy, but I mean, our culture is crazy. The way that we love money is crazy. And that's like a true testament of it. So thank you for sharing that. That's really cool. All right, Miss Lori Jean, what was your experience like?
I got to go to the very first New Leadership experience, and it was something that really was born when I was at Monations, and Stuart and Ray and Senor Luis announced this experience coming up, and I said to myself, I am there. And that was where I made the decision. I'm going to see the company. I'm going to see the headquarters. I want to see the room where it happens, and that dream came true. It was phenomenal. And I think, adding on to this, what can I even say? But I feel like the purpose and intention that Monet puts into everything is what I came away with. And it wasn't just for the market partners that were there, but also the passion that we got from Alfredo giving us a tour through the warehouse, and how proud he was to be an employee of Monet. He was literally, I'm from Orlando, Florida, so there are a lot of cast members in Orlando that work for Walt Disney World, and it was literally like he knew he was part of a very important cast, and that he understood his role in the play, and that he was proud to be that. They pour continuing education into us, but they also do that for everyone who works with Monet. And so to see that and to know that we're in those kind of hands where they're excited to put products in boxes and the technology that's going behind that and the money that Monet has put into this company so that it will work best for us. When we have those little inconvenient times when the back office doesn't load properly or when the right products aren't in the box, I'm sure that's never happened for any of you, but to know that there is heart behind every single thing that is going into our company, that lit my fire in a way that only could be lit by being there. And then connecting with other people who are building their business, I think that's also really special. Because you can be in a room with people saying that they're doing it, but the people that are on this trip are actually doing it. That is powerful, because you can pick brains from others who are moving fast, and you can find out what they're doing to do that. And then you get inside those moments where you look inside yourself and say, what do I need to do to move on so that I can grow even faster than I had to do to get here? How can I do more? How can I go over and above? And our company always does that for us, and that inspires me to do that too, and then to bring that home to my team. Absolutely. The one message I had when I came back was, you've got to be there. And then in July, I got to see one of the girls on my team achieve that trip, and she went and she had that experience too. And she got to see more of the company than I did. They got to see the home office. And so Michelle Anderson went and she got to experience that too. And I'm just so excited for more people to be able to experience this. Everyone needs to go. Everyone needs to be there. And so when you understand and you've been in the presence of someone like Todd Duncan that's pouring into you, and he takes time with each person and has a conversation with you, and he stands there for 3.5 hours basically reciting his book, except it's not exactly the book, it's the principles from the book, and he's backing it up with new stories that aren't even in the book. It's like, how are we even so privileged to be in this kind of environment where we get to have mastermind being poured out upon us like this? It is so valuable. There's not a price tag for it. It's so much more than the income, it's more than the products. I got here for the products, but wow, the result of the growth and what has changed in my life is so worth it. And that trip was just one more brick in the building that is being built, one more foundational piece. And the last thing that I want to say, after I said I had nothing to say, is that I got to connect with other people on Team Momentum. And we're all part of Kyle and Joey's team, and we found each other. There were like 7 of us. We call us the Miami 7. We need t-shirts. We still need those t-shirts. But that was so special to be able to be there with others that are part of the same team, and we knew that we had done the work to be there, and that this was the first trip, and we all made the same decision. Like, we made that decision at Monations the same way. That is where I'm going to be. I'm going to see myself there, and now it's a matter of just having people on our team follow that same path.
I love that. I love that. Are we done? Do we need to keep going? Because I feel like that was incredible. I mean, you named so many different things that you got to experience at New Leadership Experience, and like, it's really, really cool. And I want to kind of dive into that if you guys are okay. Can you share like one takeaway, one thing that maybe you took away from Todd Duncan or from the warehouse or from another training that kind of happened? What was the one like aha moment for you in your business that just kind of clicked? What was that one moment so that somebody else can truly feel like, wow, if that's something that you learned and you remembered from a year ago, I need to be there at least next year if I can't make it this year, so that I can really take on all of the, like you said, it's a privilege. So
absolutely, yeah. So I think the coolest, one of the things, because there's so many, but I think the letters that we wrote to ourselves. We actually wrote a letter to ourselves, and we gave it to our RSMs, and they actually sent it to us. So we actually received them. So, it wasn't just like something you write down and you're like, oh, cool, like in the moment, but like to actually get that back and say, hey, the stuff that I wrote down, did I actually implement those things when I went home? And so to get that back in the mail was really impactful to me, because it was like me speaking to me. And sometimes when you go through a bunch of stuff, it could crowd you from your family, whatever it is. You can kind of get bogged down by all the things. And so for yourself to be like 6 months prior or whenever it was sent to speak to you at the moment and where you were in that room, because it was one of the last things we did. And it was right after Stuart did the whole really awesome fears and the dissolved and all that stuff. So that was really cool. But it was like, Jessica, do you remember what you said to yourself? Are you going to do that thing? Because a lot of times we say ourselves in here, we say what we're going to do, and we go home and we're hit with stuff. I just want you to remember what you say here. Are you going to remember it 6 months? Are you going to implement it? Is it going to light a fire that will continue to go? So yes, I was very implemented.
Oh, that's so good. Like, I love that. That's amazing. I think it's like kind of one of those moments too where like a lot of people forget the blessings that they are kind of sitting in after they prayed for them, right? Like where you're kind of like on your knees and you're like, I just want to buy a house. I want to get a house for my kids. And then like 2-3 years in, you're complaining about the chores and these walls you gotta clean and all the stuff that comes with the house. You totally forget the blessing that you're sitting in that you asked for 2 to 3 years ago. So it's kind of like that letter is like that moment of like, hey, like, look, God, you sure did work it out for me. I love that. That's incredible. And it was really emotional, right? Everybody's crying. I think they put tissues on the tables on purpose. It's almost like cue the tears, and everybody just, it's like going. That's amazing. I didn't even remember that. I can't believe you did. I forgot the letters.
I think you did.
Somebody did. It was one of us, maybe all of us. I remember dancing at one point in time and grabbing stuff, so that had to be it. I love that. That's incredible. Okay, Miss Montana. Sorry, I digress. Your turn.
I would say so it's my biggest takeaway. I would say to take action. Sorry, I moved my microphone too much.
That's all right.
Take action, I would say, was the biggest thing. He was just very adamant about taking action in the moment when you have that thought of something that you know you need to do for your business. Just do it, because so often we start getting in our heads, we start believing the lies, and we convince ourselves that we're not qualified enough, or it's a bad idea, or we start thinking about all the possibilities, and of course our mind always goes to the negative. And so a lot of times when we think that we should reach out to somebody, we'll stop ourselves dead in our tracks. And so he just did such a great job of explaining to us and giving us the tools we needed to just do it right then. I mean, in the middle of the conference, he literally challenged us to pick up our phone and call that person. He said, who are you thinking about that needs to join your team, needs this business? Call them right now. And we all just kind of stared at him. And he's like, no, do it right now. Go. What are you guys doing? And he did a couple other things that really just got us out of our heads and going. And I think that was the biggest takeaway for me, because I didn't realize how often I was doing that, like not taking the action and letting fear get in the way, until that moment. And I started thinking about it, because as soon as he said, write these people down or call them, I could not believe that I froze, because I had convinced myself I was so good at taking action. And in that moment, I'm like, no, I don't think I can do that. I'm not going to write anybody down. He's not going to notice. There's so many people here, he won't notice I didn't do it. And that to me was that red flag of, okay, that's an area that I need to grow. And so that would be my biggest takeaway, was just take action. And before you can even think through it, it's kind of like Mel Robbins says, like she does the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
And so between Mel Robbins and Tony Robbins, take action and just don't wait, because if you wait, you're probably not going to do it.
I am obsessed with that, because I think all of us struggle with that, like any person in that, for that matter. And I loved when you said, maybe I'm not qualified, maybe I'm not qualified to do this. And sometimes I like to ask people that, like, who deems you qualified? Who are you waiting to qualify you, right? You qualified yourselves by joining the business. You already got the job. You're here. Do it. Just send it, post it, like write it, call, whatever that is, right? And a lot of times we get so in our head and we go, I'm not qualified. Like, who told you that? Nobody told you that. You told yourself that. You cut yourself off from your next blessing. Like that one person that you're terrified to call, what if that is like your next director? And you're waiting because you've told yourself a lie, because that's not true. You are qualified. That's why you're here. So I love that you said that, because that's kind of that moment of like, daggone it, I'm qualified. Like, if you struggle with that, I hope you at least write that down, like, I'm qualified. Remind yourself of that every single day, because you are. You're here. You earned this business. You are qualified. So I love that. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. He said the other day, was anybody else on the Todd Duncan call the other day? Okay, thank you. Thank you for my witness, because I'm getting like one or two out here. I'm like, is anybody doing anything right now? No, I'm just kidding. But you know what he said? You know what he said the other day? He goes, a to-do list is a waste of time. And you guys, when I tell you I dropped the spatula and the eggs, and I turned to my computer, because you know how you do, you multitask, and I was you and me both, because Jensen and I just had this conversation, and we're like, if I can't do my to-do list, the whole world's going on fire. Like, the house is burning down, nobody's getting fed. And when he said that, I went, Todd, why did you know? And in that moment, I was like, okay, he's right, though, because I spend more time creating the to-do list. Words are hard every day. We spend more time creating that than doing and taking the action and just going and doing it. But I'm crazy, so I still need my list. I still need like the 5 things so I can know what I got to do. So I love that. Okay, Laura Jean, I know you've got something.
I had some time to think. 2 things that I really want to mention. Stuart came in and spent some intentional time teaching us about the importance of overcoming our fears. And the object lesson that he used, Jessica, you already alluded to it, he had us write down our fears, or what was holding us back, on a little paper. And then they played some music, and we walked over to these bowls of water and dropped our fears into the water, and they dissolved. And it was such a beautiful picture of the reality that our fears are a lie. It's false evidence appearing real. And so that was so magically momentous in my brain. I've gone back to that many times. We had done a similar exercise in Texas when Stuart came out for a retreat, and we burned our sticks in the fire. So they didn't want to burn down the hotel and decided to use paper that dissolved instead. But it was the same exercise. There's always something that will come in and want to hold you back from your destiny, from where you're headed. And we have to constantly peel those layers back, because when it's not one thing, it's something else. Adversity will try to stop you. And we often are our worst enemy, so we have to stop stopping ourselves. And then the other part that I took away from Todd Duncan's talk, 3.5 hours, no notes, looked at us the whole time, incredible. You just need to be there to see that. But what I took away from his talk was the importance of asking questions and really finding out what is important to people, so that you can connect what this business offers with that. And what's important to me is not the same thing as what's going to be important to them. And while I consider myself a 5%er, not everybody's going to be a 5%er. They will have their own goal and their own income that they want to make, and we can't force any idea onto them when they're not ready for that. So his question asking, whenever he does it, it's like, he has practiced that. And it is a skill that I have been working on. I can't say that I'm anywhere near Todd Duncan's skill level yet, but it definitely set me on a path of asking questions more and listening more than I talk.
I love that. That's amazing. I don't have much to say after Lori. I feel like these are very nice mics, Ann, but she could just drop it. Okay? I can tell they are, because even every little whisper you can hear, like the doom. Like, I'm like, okay, don't drop it. That's expensive. No. Okay, last thing, okay? Because I absolutely love all the knowledge you guys are giving, and I think you're really allowing people to kind of be present in that moment with you as much as possible. But the last question I would ask is, what did it do for your business moving forward?
So I think getting the trip, anytime you go for a trip, immediately the things in your head kind of stop you. I mean, think about it. We have another trip coming up, and immediately what you think about, oh, there's no way I can do that. Like, it just completely, to get 12 VIPs, maybe you haven't recruited that many before. You're like, well, I've never done that before, so how am I going to do that? There's all these things that can kind of get in your way, and I believe that was so awesome when you actually say you're going to do it, and you do it. And there's no one else that is kind of your, behind you going, come on, come on, come on. You are your own person. You are the one that wakes up every morning and says, I'm going to share on social media today. I may not get a like on my stuff, but I'm going to show up today because there's maybe one person that sees my stuff, right? And so these trips and what this trip did for me is it really helped me see, I can do hard things. And this trip is not, it is a little bit challenging.
It's hard.
And so, you have to hit your rank, and then you also have to get, a Mo neighborhood and spread out. I mean, I know some of you do it in a month, but for me, that was a little bit more of a challenge, So it's just good. It was good to say another thing that I can do that maybe I didn't think I could do.
I love that. That's good. That's good. Go ahead, Montana, all you.
Okay, this is a tough question because there's just so much.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, right?
Yeah, it's a good thing. So I would say, one, believing in yourself that you're capable. But I think, one of the things that I took from the experience is that, honestly, I was a new leader and didn't see myself as a leader, and still now I'm like, am I a leader? I don't know. So going on a trip that's called Leadership Experience, I'm like, okay, what does that even mean? I don't even know what that looks like. I don't even know, I should have Connie. Connie, can you find me the definition of leadership? That would be great. Of leader? So going on a trip like that, it's just, I didn't know what to expect, and I think the biggest thing was getting those tools to actually become or be a leader. Because I think even now, being able to go on any trip, you're going to get leadership tools in some way, but that trip is just so intimate, and they pour into you so much. They give you so many tools and so much support, and it's different than any of the other trips. They're all amazing, but I really encourage any of you who are becoming a leader or already a leader, or you just need some sort of support in that area, to make this trip. Just make it happen, because you're going to get what you need in that area. Whether it was tangible stuff or encouragement, I felt like I went in there very confused about what the trip was and what a leader was, and then I left feeling empowered, and I felt like I had more of an idea going forward of what my job was to do, and then how to not only lead myself, but lead my team as well. And constantly growing, and there's so much I still need to learn. But in order to be able to do that for myself and my team, I need to show up to events like this. And this one is it's very special. So if you guys are close to ranking, or it's something that you can, we can all attain it. I think there's specifics, I don't know. But anyways, make it happen. Work hard.
She said it. Go ahead, Lori Jean.
Well, my takeaway from my team was that you can show up in ripped jeans to Leadership Day. So that's my takeaway. I just found out today that I was coming up here for the panel, so I came prepared. I'm glad I dressed appropriately. While I was at New Leadership Experience, my biggest desire was that I had leaders with me on that trip. And I think that I've been a hiker several times in my business, and maybe expecting people to just get it without me passing it along to them. And every layer that I peel back shows me that I can do a better job of helping my team go where I'm going. Because my goal has always been SED from day one. It's never been any less. Now, I'm not there yet. We made it to Triple M, and re-ranking at that rank is definitely a big job, sustainable, and working on director next, and that has always been in my sights. But in order to do that, it is essential that I have leaders built, which means I have a responsibility to build leaders. And so taking that on and realizing the responsibility that I have is what I took away. And I'd like to think that I had a part in helping Michelle get to the next leadership trip, but that was a decision that she made. Maybe my experience in going created FOMO that created her desire even more to go, but belief that she could do it if she saw that I did it. But there's so much more than that. It's inspiring people, it's helping them to believe in themselves and to believe that they can do what you did. And so I know I'm learning a lot here today that's going to help me to do that. And every room that you get in helps you to overcome whatever it is that you have to overcome to go to the next level. You're never anywhere by accident. And I know that when Ann opened up REV SQUAD U and said, this is available, I have people on my team here that blind following the blind. You're going, I'm going. We don't know where Oklahoma City is. Where is Oklahoma? And we're here. We have a team here. We got tables here. I don't even know. Like, we just decided we're going to go. And so maybe this is where there is brain power we need, we're going there. We're going to be in the presence of greatness, and we're going to take away what we need. But if there's one thing that I learned, it's that the leadership is not just for me. It's for my team. It's for everyone who wants to be a leader, and everyone who joins this business at least is leading themselves. So it's essential that they be in the environment to learn how to be the best leader they can be.
I love it. Give it up for these ladies.